So, next up, we're not going to clean up yet until we have a race car, by the way. So, we'll just wait for that. This is what's next, the European Championship. And I did a little bit of testing to see what you need. And I initially wanted to buy a car, but I'm not so sure now. The best option to stay within the spirit of the series and money-wise is the Beetle RSI, because it's got great power and four-wheel drive. But, loving the GT3 content, good to hear. Thank you. But here's the thing. I initially wanted to take the Elise 190. But, not the Lister, the Lister Fister. The Elise 190 was, I thought, going to be a great car, because it's lightweight, you can put power in it, but you can't actually upgrade this car very much. So, all the other Lotuses are really expensive. Even though we can afford it, they're pricey. So there's that. TBR could have the Griffith, but it's also pricey. You need to put power into it. The Renault Clio I thought of. And then of course there's the Audi TTs and the Mercedes that we have. Opel Speedster was another thought. But I'm going to take a peek at him real quick. Since we already saved, we can reload to see what the power's like. We can stage 3 tune this. 276 horsepower. Oop, not tires. We can't turbo though. It is lightweight though. But basically we're going to need to whip up the upgrades. I guess unofficially we're starting the segment. Give yourself some muffler. Stage 2 will give us 284 horsepower, which is pretty good. Stage 3 is really expensive. Let's try Stage 2. Let's get tires. I know this car's already lightweight, but let's make it even lighter because it's cheap. Yeah, let's get the brakes. Yeah, this is more interesting than using the Beetle because we already have a Beetle. And let's give her oil change. Orange Opel Speedster. Always gotta do that oil change. So our next series is the European Championship. And similar to the American Championship, no limitations, same prize money, European circuits. And the AI are also an issue because not because there's like one opponent that stands out. There's actually multiple opponents that are going to be really difficult. And I'll tell you, if we get one, the Elise 190. The Elise 190, the Speedster, and the Zonda C12 are possible opponents. And they all kind of do the same performance. Thankfully, we don't have any duplicate opponents, so 298 horsepower. Let me just double check that we have everything we need. Let's go. E. Yeah, but it would be nice to have more people, but I feel like as we get further in the game into the more spicy series, we'll get some new faces, I'm sure. Yeah, A9 are trying to be interesting this update. They had a great car list and a new track that looks beautiful in the pictures, but We'll see how it is when the actual content releases. So, similar to the American Championship, we blazed the rest of the AI, and this is unknown. I didn't do too much testing with the series, so I don't know how the Speedster will do against the Elise, but let's see. Looks like we can at least go side by side with him without punting. Okay, because yeah, I tried to fully upgrade the Elise 190, and it actually cannot go as fast as the AI in this series. Yeah, mini car, mini roadster versus another mini roadster. I have a surprise at the end of the stream, just saying. Big spinala for the Elise 190. You know what? I think this will be a fun series. This won't be painful, I don't think. Famous last words. Play Among Us. I haven't played Among Us since January, actually. The views been dropping since Asphalt 9. Yeah, that's fully expected, to be honest. You know, something that I'm thankful for is that I do have you guys who are sticking with it. But, you know, I said in my last stream and in my Road Ahead video that, you know, this content's going to be different. Some people won't like it. But if you want to see something new, I recommend you stick around because I think this game is awesome. This is one of my favorite games of my childhood, and I think we're having a great time with it so far. It gives us a good enough challenge to keep things interesting, and the way I'm doing the playthrough, where we're doing everything that's limited to our license, it makes it balanced so that I have to watch my money. I have to be careful with the cars. And, you know, we're trying to do everything in, like, the spirit of the competition. I'm not gonna, like, do time trial to get the Le Mans car and then just blaze all these races, because that would just make it really boring. But here, we're bringing something new to the table pretty much every single series. We're buying new cars, we're trying everything out. We're not just putting the turbo on everything and just calling it a day. Although this NA tune-up with a bunch of muffler and engine balancing and all that, that does seem to start to become the normal. But trust me, that's how late game becomes. You need to upgrade your stuff. And this is GT3. We didn't have the most extreme variety of upgrades. I think actually GT2 had more upgrades in this game. A lot of people like to compare Gran Turismo 3 to Gran Turismo 1. As in it had a, you know, nice, diverse, but kind of limited car list. Interesting tracks. Kind of simple system, although this game had much more content than GT1. And then people compared GT2 to GT4, where it had a absolutely massive car list, buttloads of things to do, a lot of good moments, a lot of bad moments, a lot of hard challenges. You know, you have your GT40 Rome circuits, you have your IA15s. In my opinion, GT4 is not only the best game in the series, but one of the best racing games of all time, considering its age and its legacy. But I'd say all of the first 4 Gran Turismos were basically the trendsetter. They were the gold standard. All 4 of them. GT5, where things get a little shaky, because Forza by then was a force to be reckoned with. Back when GT3 came out, Forza wasn't even a thought yet. And Forza 1 was a copycat to GT4 back when that came out. Yeah, A9 is, in my opinion, just a shell. It's not the experience it used to be. Space Jam 2 came out, yes, and there's Big Chungus and Rick and Morty, and I can't believe I used that in the same sentence. and did not talk about the Redditors. Yes, the good old days when this game was fully completable. Back when the game would cost, $60, but you got a full game. And you know what? This game was actually bundled in with PS2s. So for a lot of people, this game came with the system and it was free. This was a pack-in game. So, think about that. If you just bought a PS2 back in like 2001, 2002, this is the game you got for free. This is, I believe, the second most sold PS2 game, only behind GTA San Andreas. So this is the best-selling GT exclusive. Or PS2 exclusive, sorry. And I also think this is the best-selling GT game, like, period. It sold more than Gran Turismo 1. There's a YouTube channel called Casey, who makes good like racing game documentaries, and she just recently did a video on Gran Turismo clones. Where she compared, everything that released in the early to mid 2000s to what was the GT game out at the time. And she did a part on Forza 1 and 2. She did a part on Enthusia, and then some of the bad games. I think it was called, Driving Emotion Type S or something, and then R Racing Evolution, which she just recently picked up. But yeah, check out her channel. She has good content. So here comes the Elise. I was wondering if we need to detune the car, and I don't think so. I think the AI pick up also in the middle of the series, so we just gotta watch our guard. The Elise, for some reason, has horsepower in this series. Yeah, my first Gran Turismo game was Gran Turismo 2, but that was when I was a baby. My parents only got me 3 games, which when I was a baby apparently, which was Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit, Spyro the Dragon, and Gran Turismo 2. They say Spyro the Dragon was my first ever video game, and Need for Speed 3 was my first ever racing game. I think those are 2 amazing games to start out your gaming career on. But I couldn't even remember at the time. My first gaming memory is this game. I do remember playing this game when I was 4 years old. I was sitting in this inflatable standing chair thing in front of my TV in my living room playing this game, and that's where I love the Mazda 787B because of its color and its sound. This is basically my parents would show me Action Replay and Game Shark and just give me cheat codes to play everything. So I was just driving around like a little idiot. And then I got Gran Turismo 4 for my 5th birthday. That was the year it came out, 2005. It was just a couple months since the game was out, but obviously I had no idea how the internet or trailers or anything worked. So the first game I ever remember getting as a present was GT4. And, to me, I was like, oh my god, there's another one? And indeed, there was another Gran Turismo game. And, I played GT4 throughout pretty much my entire childhood. And back in high school, I did a 100% pure playthrough, no cheat codes or anything. And I was able to do it. Here I'm coming back to GT3. I never 100% in GT3. I came close a couple times, but some of the late championships were real slugs, and I didn't have the patience as a little kid to do them. Now I do have the patience and the skill. That was the other thing, is I could never pass the license test when I was a little kid. Not even bronze on the later ones. Obviously now I can get all gold. So, looks like we've gapped the Elise quite a bit. Which is weird, because the Elise was about to pass us on the end of lap 1, and now rubber banding has backed off. Yeah, memories everywhere. Nowadays kids are playing Fortnite. I had no idea online gaming was a thing until I joined the PlayStation Network in 2011 because I got Gran Turismo 5 for Christmas 2010. And saw the game had like online features. I'm like, ooh, what is this? And you needed to create a PSN account, and that's how the name Hot Dog 1 was created, by the way. You're messing around with Dirt 5. I've heard the game's not bad. It got updated recently, I think. But welcome, Santito. Yeah. The PS1 that I had when I was a little kid is right there. I don't know if you guys could see it, but it's one from the 90s. My parents got it when they were dating. As cute and cheesy as that sounds, that's arguably one of the reasons they're still together. My parents are still happy, so regardless of the PS1. I don't think they've played the PS1 since the early 2000s. But yeah, pro tip: if you're ever in a relationship, buy your girlfriend a PS1. You guys will be happy. All right, Grand Valley, race 3. '2000s was the best generation. That's what people always like to look at nostalgically. I'd have to agree with them to some extent. I think there have been some amazing games that have came out in the last 5-10 years, but the gaming industry as a whole, I think, it was interesting because, like, in the early 2000s, your biggest thing was Grand Theft Auto. I just have too much GTA on my mind, I swear. But Grand Theft Auto was the biggest thing because it was so controversial that, you know, GTA had somewhat realistic graphics at the time. Yeah, I played Ratchet and Clank before. I played All for One on the PS3. That was like the only time I've fully played through a game. I have the 2016 game on PS4, the reboot. Haven't played it yet though. And I saw Rift Apart, but I feel like I won't play it until it gets cheap, and then after I played the reboot. But yeah, GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, and Vice City, those games were always like in the news being talked about as controversial. And then that's when Xbox Live was starting to crop up, you know, Halo 2. And, you know, everybody was like scared. And the game industry also had a lot of shovelware, a lot of really crappy licensed games and cash grabs, and they still do, just in different ways. But man, there were some amazing quality games. I'd say from like 1999 to 2007 was like the game industry's best years in terms of quality of games. As a whole, there have been some amazing games that have came out since 2008. But I think 2007 was the last like amazing year of the gaming industry because like on all fronts you had, I think it was Halo 3, God of War 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, was it Metal Gear Solid 4? I think was that year. Super Mario Galaxy. Like that year was stacked. That year was stacked, and that was before I was like super into like, you know, reading news on the internet and stuff. If I had known back then, oh man, that was cool. I didn't start following gaming news till like 2011, 2012. Come on, this car is so weird to handle in some corners. The first Uncharted game came out that year, 2007. I think Forza 3 was 2006, I thought. Need for Speed, I think, had Pro Street in 2007. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me more of your favorite 2007 games, just to add to the argument that 2007 was stacked. Yeah, Forza 3 is 2009. I knew that, but yeah, I argue that year was like the last year gaming had its like true um, renaissance. And don't get me wrong, great games released in 2008 and up, but that's where the industry started to change a little bit. I'd argue it was still good from like 2008 to maybe 2013, about then. Because then you had games like Uncharted 2, Forza 4, Gran Turismo 5, the first Forza Horizon, The Last of Us, the first one, Bioshock Infinite, Red Dead Redemption, nice drift. Need for Speed High Pursuit, yep. You think Forza 3 was the best? Or, oh, so 1999 to 2009. Yeah. That's a pretty big gap. But I'd agree, 1989, like, the early 90s was stacked. Because of, you had games like Super Mario World, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mortal Kombat, Daytona USA, Ridge Racer. Those were like the early 90s. Super Mario 64 obviously in the mid 90s. Ocarina of Time. The first Gran Turismo obviously. Would have been interesting to grow up in the 90s, that's for sure. Yeah, Gameloft made a really weird decision by mixing the production and concept versions of the Venom F5. And not really explained why. They should update it, but car might be rushed, I don't know. Yeah. I got Burnout, of course. Burnout was 2000. Burnout 3 was 2004. Burnout Paradise 2008. Like, yeah. Race 3, all done. This is kind of a boring series. I thought this would be quite difficult, but I don't want to take off the upgrades because the Elise is holding up with us. Yeah. Thing is, I didn't have the only 90s console I had at the time, and sort of still do, sort of, is the PS1. And on the PS1, my parents mostly just like got me E-rated games and racing games. So, eventually, my dad showed me some of the games he had before I was born, like Metal Gear Solid and Resident Evil, and I still have them. I'm not selling them anytime soon. I don't think I'll ever sell my PS1 games, actually. But yeah. Rome Circuit Reverse. Pretty cool. But yeah, they just don't make games like they used to anymore. Everything's now about monetization, and I get it's because development costs have skyrocketed, and gaming industry is, in terms of money, bigger than it's ever been. And you have things like Twitch and YouTube and online reviewers and social media to literally cover every second of it. You know, back then, a game developer could just be silent about a game and just spit it out, and all of a sudden, it's a game that exists. GameStop, EV Games would have it, and that'd be the end of it. So I noticed Elise is faster now. It's done that race 4, race 5 thing where the AI gets tougher. So, you know what? That means we have a challenge now. Yeah, Venom F5 is a Legend Pass special event car. So similar to the Devo and I don't remember what else has been released. The I honestly forgot what were the other Legend Pass cars in the last update, and I was playing the game a little bit when those cars did release. Was YouTube a dating site? It was a video. It was always a video sharing site. The Mazzanti. Whoa. Crimson, thank you very much for the $1. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. So it looks like rubber banding is a thing again, because this Lotus is holding a gap. You get into this game again? Wow. I am... That makes me happy. That makes me happy that, you know, when I show you guys these, like, classic games that I grew up with, that it inspires. If it inspires just one of you, that makes me happy. So, thank you. Thank you for that. Now let's catch this Elise. Big send, no contact. It's not the final lap, so don't worry about it not being a photo finish. 0.031 in it, with 1 to go. Can we have this in Formula 1? I didn't mean that. But literally, we never have cars going across the finish line side by side anymore. Because of dirty air and all that jazz. Why did I decide to play this game again? Because when I thought to leave Asphalt 9, we need a palate cleanser game. A game that could take my mind off of everything going on in the channel. And I want to switch this channel from a pure Asphalt channel to a gaming community that focuses on racing games. I don't want to be stuck to one game. Racing games are still my favorite genre. They kind of have always been. So I want to play a bunch of racing games. I don't want to switch to a Gran Turismo channel. Even that's what we've been playing for the last 2 months, basically. But it's because it's a long game. I want to, like, you know, go back and play some old games that I grew up with. Old games I've never tried on. New games. Just kind of do a lot more variety. And base it around the community rather than a single game. Because Asphalt, like, really burnt me out, like, in terms of content creation. Like, I mean, some of you guys have been on the channel for a long time, know that I didn't post that many videos in Asphalt 9, especially compared to Asphalt 8. Because, honestly, I was burnt out. And I was busy with college, university, but I was also super unmotivated. The streams I stuck with, because I liked streaming, and I still love streaming. So, I do that still. But this game is a good palate cleanser because it makes me feel a lot of nostalgia because I played this game a ton when I was a kid. This is a good thumbnail shot. I love this one. We're gonna save the game in case of prize car drama. Yeah, the C5R. We bullied that C5R, but you know what? That's the only way you can win that series. And we got the win. We couldn't win the race car, but maybe we don't deserve it. I don't know. There'll be more opportunities to win race cars. We do need to get one before the IB license, though. Just saying. So, last race is on Monaco. How many cars we got so far? I think like 30-something. We could see how many we have in our garage after this series, in our stats. Grid Legends. I love how Grid Legends was announced like literally a week after F1 2021 came out. And F1 2021 has that breaking point. Which, by the way, it's now a donation goal if you haven't noticed. But I do think we should check it out. The breaking point. I hear it's a pretty short career mode, or the story mode, so we can... whoa, big drift from the Elise and he overcooks it. But, you know, I hear it's pretty short, so that means we could stream it. So, if you guys want to fund that, feel free. I might just pick it up anyway if it goes on sale. But... whoa. I unsettled the car way too much. We should all race Lotus Elises on Monaco instead of F1 car. My Twitch is hot_dog1. And also you could see that in the, right below my webcam is my Twitch. He overcooks it going into, is that Mirabeau? I forget the corner name, the chicane. I should learn the track names better. Because this is literally Monaco. I know this is swimming pool, obviously. GameStop by GME. The F1 British Grand Prix. Oh my god, I never talked about it yet. I briefly mentioned that it was spicy, and you know what? I think that's the best way to describe it, is spicy. Now, I was at a car show when it happened, so I watched in public lap 1, because that was it, and then the last like 10 laps. All I'm going to say is that crash was inevitable. That was going to happen. I saw that coming from 5,000 miles away. Because before we talk about the elephant in the room, on the start, so it was Verstappen in first, Hamilton second on the grid. Hamilton gets a great start, and they go side by side into the first corner. Verstappen goes off track and then chops Hamilton, so to cut off that lane, and takes back the lead. So, that's one corner and one aggressive move. Then they stay close and then go into is it Brooklands, I think, the one where you go down on the straight and then you hard brake and go into, I think it's Brooklyn and Luffield. It's the left-hander that goes into a right semicircle. Verstappen sends an extreme line to hold his lead and leaves most of the track, but he stays in the curb, so it's not a corner cut, just to cut off Hamilton once again. That's two aggressive moves before he gets to Cops. So Hamilton drops back, gets a really good exit on, I think it's Luffield, and they're going down the old pit straight. Hamilton has a fat slipstream coming in. And in the sprint race, Hamilton tried to overtake Cops' corner from the outside, and it didn't work. And he couldn't catch up for Verstappen later in the race. So he sold a dummy on the outside. Max covered the inside, but Hamilton decided to double down and take the inside line. So now Verstappen has a defense that he needs to pull off. And Hamilton needs to make sure he makes the corner. Hamilton doesn't make the corner. His front left taps Verstappen's rear right. And since they're going 180 miles an hour, I think, that pops off the rear right of Max's car, and off he goes into the barrier. At 51 Gs was the impact, which is extreme. That obviously red flags the race. They say Verstappen hospitalized, but he walked out of the car and was taken to the hospital for checks and released in 2 hours. He was not hospitalized. That makes it sound like he broke his bones or something. He might have gotten like a light concussion or felt dizzy or something, but as far as the public knows, he's fine and he'll be racing next week. So, not as bad as the media puts it out there. But yes. Hamilton, obviously with clipping that goes wide. Charles Leclerc takes the lead. The race is red flagged. and then the Grand Prix restart with Charles Leclerc having a perfect race that obviously goes unnoticed because every social media pundit is talking about the crash on lap 1. What is my thought? I think it is 60-40 Hamilton's fault. 60% Hamilton, 40% Max. That was avoidable, but it was also inevitable. That crash was going to happen. Hamilton just got lucky that he wasn't taken out himself. But if the race wasn't red flagged, then he probably would have dropped to the back and had damage. But Max unfortunately crashed severe enough to cause a red flag, which probably ironically won Hamilton the race. Anyway, that is a clean sweep of the championship. We explained in 3 laps the British Grand Prix crash. So there you go. That went a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Back up to 200 grand. There we go. Let's go. Congratulations, we've won a trophy and prize money. What's gonna be? 20,000 credits. I saw the high rake on that guy. Look at this guy's high rake. Thick. Anyway, he's got a nice pink helmet. What's our prize card gonna be? Is that an Elise? Poggers! There we go. I said we needed a race car. It's not the best race car in this game, but it's a race car. It is our best car. So, there we go. Clean sweep. And the perfect prize car. That makes up for not getting a race car in the last one. Gillette Vertigo. 419 horsepower. That's a proper race car. We can move on to the game without money issues. So there you go. Thank you, Opel Speedster. Here's our game status, 30% now, and that's our 38th car, by the way. So whoever wanted that question, we have 38 cars now. There you go. That's the segment.